Something incredible is happening, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and this is our Walk for Life Digital-thon. Yep, you heard me correctly. We're doing something a little bit different. It's 2021, and the pandemic last year just disrupted our world. Everything got disrupted. Everything got disrupted. And I told myself, listen, man, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. And I'm joined with another fighter this morning, Minister Carol Crockett. How are you doing this morning?
I am wonderful this morning. Thank you for having me too.
Man, I'm glad to have you. You just celebrated your 70th birthday. How does that feel?
I'm so excited about this new chapter of 70 in my life. As a matter of fact, I feel better now than I did 30 years ago.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And you're the epitome of getting better with age. You're committed to improving. You're a learner. I mean, you're a leader. You're a lover of progress and people. I mean, you're embracing this.
Yes, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so appreciative to you because you're such a trendsetter. And so I love the fact that you are always pushing yourself, but you're always pushing others to come along with you. And so I'm excited about being connected to the Effective Living platform because I've seen my life improve in the last year or so since I've been connected.
Well, we're a community, and we're glad that you're a part. And we're doing this together. We're growing
Absolutely.
and going together. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined with Minister Carol Crockett. Today, it's a 12-hour Digital-thon. I will be talking, Minister Carol, I'll be talking for 12 hours.
And guess what?
Yeah.
I heard Sheree say she was going to be praying for you, but I got confidence in you that you're like a fish in the water with this. I know at the end of the 12th hour, you're going to be full of energy and ready to go. You could probably take on 13.
Come on, praise the Lord. I appreciate that confidence.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. I went to bed last night early. I woke up this morning early, refreshed, just renewed. I was praying. I looked at my budget for this event, guys. For those of you that are watching and this is your first time seeing us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and let us know where you're watching from. We want to know where you're watching from. But Mr. Carol, I've been collecting shoes. I have hundreds of shoes that I want to get to kids in the Bahamas. But then I also have this 5K run walk that we're having on the 10th. That's next Saturday. This same time, right now, literally the 8 o'clock mark, people will be gathering there at the River Legacy Park in Arlington. Beautiful park. I didn't even know it's rated number 2 in the Metroplex as best park. And so we're going to be gathering there with the Effective Living 5K run walk. But in addition, I say, you know how cool it would be to be able to get kids some shoes this summer, because I remember growing up with limited means and not being able to go outside with no shoes. I was telling Sheree, listen, you have to keep your good shoes for a certain time. And I think, are you familiar with that, or you don't know anything about that?
Absolutely familiar with that because it was 8 people in my family. And you could only get shoes in increments. If you got shoes when school first started, you weren't getting any shoes probably until school started again because our parents just didn't have it. So they had to spread out how we got shoes. But yes, I'm so familiar with that. And I sometimes we too do take those things for granted, that because we have now multiple pairs of shoes that we think other people are not, that other people don't have, don't have the same thing we have. So yes, I'm so glad to see that this is one of the things that you're going to take this walk and benefit someone else and give to those who don't have. I think that's a part of our Christian walk, is to be able to recognize a need, and if we can fulfill that need, we should be willing to do that, because I always remember this: it could be me again. It could be me again.
It could be me again. And the truth be told, growing back up in a home where you have multiple siblings, you have the shoes will pass down.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't think about the fact that, there are still a lot of passing down.
Yes, it is.
A lot of passing down.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody says, pass me down from one sibling to the next. That's Lynette. She just put that in the comment section.
Absolutely.
And
You have to get them passed down because, like I said, when you come from a family and my dad was the only one who was working, my mom stayed at home.
yeah,
But can you imagine at that time he was just doing basic labor work
yeah.
and you had to take care of total of 8 of us that
Wow.
you had to take care of.
Wow.
Luckily, I was kind of the oldest girl, so I didn't get a lot of passed down shoes, but my poor brothers passed down.
Oh man, listen, tell our viewing audience a little bit about Carol Crockett. You're passionate about words as well. You're passionate about what we say to ourselves. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about you. And guys, go ahead and wish Minister Carol a happy belated birthday. She just celebrated her 70th. I believe I said this in a note somewhere. 30 days before and 30 days after is still all celebration.
It's still all celebration, absolutely. But yeah, I am very adamant about the words and how important it is that we speak words, positive things to ourselves. We can be in a world that's got so much negativity, and we can find ourselves in that same area, that same way, just picking up those habits and saying things that we haven't, first of all, given any thought to. Those careless words that we say. And sometimes we think they don't mean anything, but I'm such an advocate that, what I say, I'm putting it out in the atmosphere. And if I don't give it any directions, it can end up anywhere. It can end up in any place and places that I may not intend to have that a part of my life. So words that we speak to others, are they helping or are they hurting? Words that I even speak to myself. So many times our self-talk is so detrimental to us. And so just even learning to change that mindset that what I say to myself is so important as well as what I say to other people. And so we want to be in a place that we are building up. I know I appreciate a good positive word from someone. So why wouldn't I be willing to give that positive word to someone else? Because sometimes, like you said, I think I heard you say, sometimes we don't even know how people are silently hurting. But it could be one word that can change their life for the good or for the bad. So, I really want to be a person who's very conscious of what I say and not always let my emotions make me say things that I regret, because I want to tell you, I've always been that way. I can look back and see how, oh my God, I did say that, and how that hurt someone. And then you wonder why people don't want to talk to you anymore because of things you've said to them.
Wow, that is so good. So the question, ladies and gentlemen, watching this morning, is it helping or is it hurting? The words you're saying to those around you and the words you're saying to yourself. Nathaniel Butler is watching us in the Bahamas. Listen, guys, this morning we kicked off our Digital-thon. It's a walk for life. I believe strongly in the importance of taking care of your body. As Minister Carol just mentioned, listen, guys, you got to say the right things. You got to think the right things. You got to do the right things. If you want to live life effectively, Jim Rohn says this. He says, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. When your body expires, guys, your time's up. And here's the deal. Our day is coming, but the truth is we need to be responsible with the time we've been given to ensure that we are able to do what we need to do. And so I'm pushing, take care of your body. The Effective Living platform is built around 5 words, Miss Carol. I want us to talk about those 5 words. It's faith, it's fitness, it's family, it's finances, and it's fun. I believe that if a person were to lock into this, okay, we got Vito in the Bahamas joining us. Vito, these are the 5. You got to lock in. How am I doing with my faith? How am I doing with fitness? How am I doing with family? How am I doing with finances? How am I doing with fun? To live and not to enjoy life, to live and not have a body to be able to utilize the way you need to utilize it is to breed frustration. To live and not have any money. When the money is funny, man, come on, right? And then to live and not have friends, don't have family. And sometimes you may not have siblings, but sometimes a friend can become a family member.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Someone you met may eventually become just as that of a blood brother or a blood sister.
Absolutely.
That's the real deal. And then last but not least, faith. There are a lot of
Hmm.
people who are wanting to acquire the world, but what about your soul? Where are
Yes.
you in your right standing mind with God? And so that's our five. Miss Carol, what do you think about those?
Well, that's what the words say. What good is it for us to gain the whole world and lose our soul? Our faith is so important because if you don't have faith, I think you don't even have the ability to think ahead or to look past where you really are. So it takes faith for us to even get up and begin to even think that I can have a better life
Yeah,
or I can have a better, my family can work together.
yeah,
Or even when it takes faith, if you're in a financial situation,
yeah,
it takes faith to help you move out of that situation because I think with faith, it gives us hope.
yeah.
And so we have to know that wherever we are today, whether it is I need to increase my faith, that's
Mhm.
possible. That
Yes.
is very possible. If I need my family to be improved, that's a possibility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If I need my finances to be improved, that's a possibility.
yeah,
And
yeah,
also fitness,
yeah.
that is possible.
Come on, come on, come on.
It is possible. And then, not to mention fun. What good is it to have all of that
Yeah,
and you can't see any fun in it? And that was one of the things I've had to learn. I was like so into trying to improve my faith, want my family,
yeah.
want my, finances and my fitness together. But I had to literally, somebody had to tell me, girl, you need to learn how to have fun.
But
I
yeah,
didn't even recognize that I didn't know how to have fun. But that is, I think that helps make us the whole person.
or yeah,
All five of those help
yeah,
us to become a whole person. And that's what we want to be. God
yeah,
wants us whole.
yeah.
So why wouldn't we take advantage of those things that he's provided us to have in order for us to live our most effective life? Because that's what he wants for us.
That is really what he wants for us. And I
Hmm.
think it's important that we be intentional. I think you got to be
You
intentional.
have to be.
Man, listen, I'm 45. This year I'll be 46. I'm excited about 46. Somebody said I was doing an interview not too long ago, and I said, well, I'm 46. And they're like, no, you're not 46, you're 45. That's I'm just listen,
Just looking
listen,
forward.
I'm looking forward to the future, man. I want to get better with age. But in
Absolutely.
addition to getting better with age, I want to make sure that the dynamics of better is holistic. The
Yes.
dynamics of better is nothing missing, lacking, or broken.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
that doesn't mean life doesn't punch me in the face with
Oh,
unexpected
definitely
blows
not.
sometimes.
Hmm.
Everybody's going to get some unexpected blows. The truth of the matter is, Minister Carol, I learned this lately. The balancing dynamics of life is simply like this. The day when I don't want rain, someone is praying for rain. Okay?
Absolutely. Hmm.
The day, come on, the day I don't want snow, someone is owning a snow slope company and they need the snow so that they're
Right.
so what is not the doctor need a clinic, a client, a banker needs somebody, you know what I'm saying, a lawyer, everybody. And so life moves in a way
Right.
where if it's not your day, guess what, you got to tell yourself
And
no season lasts forever.
right. Hmm.
Okay.
And a new day is coming.
And a new, oh, that's a word for somebody right there. A new
A
day is,
new day is coming. That
yes,
today, the today doesn't always define my tomorrow.
yes,
But I love what you said too. All five of those take intentionality. You
yeah,
got to be intentional about those things.
yeah,
And we can't leave our health and all those things just out there and wait on somebody else
yeah,
to do something for us. Wait
yeah,
on the doctors to tell us you
yeah,
need
yeah,
to walk. Wait
right,
on the doctors to tell us we need to change our health, change our eating habits.
yeah,
So we have to be intentional. And I think when we learn better,
yeah,
we should do
do
better.
better. Yes,
We
yeah.
must do that. Yeah.
That is so important. We've become very skilled. We've become really good at acquiring knowledge without applying the knowledge. Okay,
Absolutely.
we've become really
Absolutely.
good at acquiring and all. So we know. And so, like, we're doing on next Saturday, for those of you watching us for the first time, we're doing a 5K run in Arlington, Texas. Listen, guys, and I've been inviting people, Minister Kara, to join us at this 5K run because what's going to happen is it's going to allow individuals to be able to connect
Hmm.
with friends. They're going to be
Hmm.
able to fellowship. They're going to be able to exercise. They're going to be able to think. They're going to be able to have fun. But there are
Hmm.
some people who they've never taken the time to stop until they're forced to stop.
Right.
And so, guys, on April 10th, that's next Saturday at 8 a.m. in the Arlington, Texas, beautiful city here in the metropolitan area. We're going to have a 5K run walk. It's the first time I'm doing this here. And so I'm excited about this. Now, in addition to having the 5K run walk, what we're doing as well is I'm wanting to send a few hundreds of kids' shoes for kids in the Bahamas this summer. My goal is to distribute those shoes in much needed communities. We've done this before. We're going to do it again. And now we have the shoes. We want to ship them. And so our budget is $719.95. And here's what my goal is, Miss Carol. My goal is we're having 12 guests today, 12 hours of talking with incredible people. And if each time we're on, we get a minimum of 2, we'll meet our budget. Okay, if 2 persons sponsor at $30, we're going to hit our budget and we'll be able to get that stuff off to the kids in the Bahamas. But in addition, we're going to give, because here's the deal. A part of life from a progressive standpoint requires giving. You got to give to get. You can't just be a taker. You got to be a giver as well. You got to live in the whole concept of, if I want a better life, then I also have to understand someone else wants a better life, and I have something that I can give. Now, someone may say, you know what, $30 is nothing. Well, guess what? It's a lot for the kid who's going to get that shoes who don't have any shoes.
And you know what else, Ricardo? I think about a person who got their fist tight like this, all balled up. That's a person who don't want to give. So you don't want to give anything out. And guess what? You're not going to get too much given to you as well. So it's like, one thing helps the other. So if I'm a giver, that means somebody is going to come along somewhere. I may not get it the same way, but someone will come along and give you something that you really need. And sometimes we think it's all about money. We need money today. Just we need $719 today. But it's not always that you get things back in terms of money. You get things back like we're doing this in terms of friendships, in terms of connections, in terms of, lifelong friends and lifelong, being able to have someone who's going to encourage you. Let's get this health thing together. Let's get our finances together. So it's so many ways that we can get the things that we give out. God will find a way to give those things back to us, even pressed down and running over. Times,
I totally agree. I was doing some study this week in preparation for a class I'm doing next week. And I was talking about just really the importance of taking care of your health. And I wrote these down. The 6 best doctors in the world is sunlight, it's rest, it's exercise, it's diet, it is friends, and it is self-confidence.
Absolutely.
And all of those things come together when you start taking care of your body.
Yes.
When you start thinking about it, you need sunlight, you need rest, you need exercise, you need to pay attention to your diet, you need friends.
And
when
friends.
you start to align those things, your confidence shows up. And your confidence helps you to even fight germs. You're coming, devil, not today, not but
not today. Absolutely.
If you don't allow yourself to remind yourself of what you know, and how you need to show up, you can find yourself knowing better, but not experiencing better. And that's not the goal. The goal is, as Minister Carol mentioned earlier, when you know better, you should do better. So I wrote down a couple of things.
You must do better.
These are a couple of benefits for this 5K. Walking and running is good for you. It helps your heart. It cleanses and refreshes your mind. Watch it. An opportunity to meet new people. And there are a lot of people like, the pandemic. Get out and get to meet and connect with some people. Spending quality time with family and friends. You could just go ahead and bring your friends. One of the things we've been saying is the journey is better with friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely better with friends. And, you were saying about in this pandemic, how this pandemic for, the first part of it, we had to be shut in. We had to be closed in. And I like walking too. And so I found myself even because I couldn't get out, I find myself getting a little bit depressed about I
Right.
couldn't get out.
Yep.
But when I had that opportunity to start getting out again, I'm telling you, it's like my sinuses open up, my mind opened up, and
Yeah.
like you said, that sunlight, and just being, even though I kind of wear a mask sometimes when I walk, but just pulling it down, breathing that fresh
Yeah.
God-given air
Yeah. Whew.
is so important,
Yes.
to be able to take in that breathing, and so that's important as well. So you're having opportunity to do things with friends. Sometimes when I didn't want to walk and I had a couple of walking buddies, and and they would say, "Are you walking today?" Well, if I thought I wasn't,
Yeah.
they would push me.
Yeah.
Push me to want to do it. I know one time I was on your show and you was like, "Minister Carol, have you done your walk today?" And I was like, he's putting me on blast. Yes, I'm getting ready to get out here and get walking. But that really helps all of us. I think it's so important that we help build up one another,
Yeah.
in whatever capacity or way that we've been, privileged to help one another. We should be willing to do that.
I totally agree. When it comes to discipline, what has been keeping you going? Because you've been one of those people walking. You've been, and I said this to Sheree earlier. For someone who don't want to run, you don't have to run. You don't
I
have to
love it.
feel pressure. Cruise. Come on. I'm really not a runner. I'm actually a little bit more of a fast walker, type of light jogging. But the truth is, I told her earlier, I am not competing. I
Mhm.
am completing. And the goal is, somebody said, well, I don't know if I can do the 5K because I had an exercise. Walk,
Walk.
walk, walk. How important
Take
is
your
it?
time and walk. And I looked that up. That's just, I hate to say that's just 3 miles, because it may be
Yep,
hard for someone else.
yep, yep,
But I had mapped out of me a little part around my house, and I was
yep.
like, "Oh, this is 3 miles. I can get this done." But so don't worry about how long it takes
Yep,
you. Just be interested in completing,
completing.
like you
Yep,
said.
yep,
Just be interested in that you are gonna get to
yep,
the finish line.
yep,
And you know what? You may have to get there with somebody helping you, or
yep, yep,
stopping to help, but that's okay.
yeah.
We can all get there together.
Listen, you're so right. You have been doing the walk with friends. You've been doing it by yourself.
Mhm.
You've embraced both. When it comes to taking care of your health, encourage those who are watching,
Mhm.
connect with some friends. I mean, if they're in the Bahamas, they're going to do this 5K. If you're here in the Dallas area, you might say, listen, let me go out and fellowship and connect with, and we're going to still have social distancing.
Right.
We're going to have our
Absolutely.
masks, and like I heard what you said, but put down the mask while you're walking a little bit,
Get a little
right?
air.
Yeah, just get a little air. But how important is fellowship? How important is
Oh my
friends? How
God.
important is mingling with other good quality people?
Mhm. And if this pandemic hadn't taught us anything, it's taught us the value of relationship, the
Yeah,
value of friendship. I mean, this entire time, during the pandemic, I have, 5 or 6 brothers and sisters in the area, and we'd have to go to my mother's house in
yeah,
increments
yeah,
because we couldn't go together.
yep,
And so not being able to gather together, there's a void
yep,
that you have because you haven't been able to gather together. And the same thing with friendship,
yep,
because we couldn't gather together in big groups or whatever. But just the idea that now you can at least have 2 or 3 of them. And so my two buddies, we walk together, we keep our mask on.
yep, yep,
But that is so important to
yep,
have that, to be able to communicate and talk about things outside of yourself with other
yep,
people, and to see how they're doing during this pandemic. It is
yep.
so important. God intended for us to be in relationship and
Yes,
have
yep,
friendship and fellowship. He didn't intend for us to be in isolation, because
yep,
I just think when we're in isolation, we don't really grow.
yep,
We
yep,
we don't really understand the value of connecting.
yep,
So it's so many things that isolation does for us that's not healthy.
yep,
And so and guess what else? And even if you're struggling
yep,
with any part of your life, friendship is so important. Being able to have somebody to communicate that
Yeah.
with. You know, you got to have friends that you can be transparent with. You got to have friends that you can share. Well, this is where I am, and not be worried about they're condemning me, but also they're not going to be okay with me staying stuck in that situation.
I totally agree with
Mhm.
you. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about our health walk that we have coming up. Walk for Life. It's Effective Living First 5K. It's going down right here in Arlington, Texas, on next week Saturday from 8 a.m. Everything should be ended about 10 o'clock. But
Mhm.
here's what I'm encouraging people to do. Come on out and walk and run and fellowship and connect. And so if you're anywhere in the area, go ahead, go to ricardomiller.com and register today. But you may say, hey, Ricardo, I don't have time to do that. I can't do it right now. But what I want to do is I want to help you get these shoes to these kids. Now,
Absolutely.
during our talk today, we have 12 guests. I'll be hosting 12 guests within the 12-hour window. This is a 12-a-thon, man. This is gonna be a run, right? I have 12 guests. And my goal is during each talk to get a minimum of 2 viewers to say, you know what, I want to sponsor.
Mhm.
I want to sponsor. Sponsorship is $30.
Right.
$30. And then our budget, we want to be able to meet our budget at the end of the day and be able to ship those shoes off to the Bahamas. But you can even sponsor someone to come to the walk. You say, you know what?
Absolutely.
There's always
Mhm.
someone who want to participate but may not have the financial means to participate. Hey, listen, be a giver. Be
Be
a
a giver.
blessing to
Mhm.
someone else.
Mhm.
Miss Carol, I was thinking about when I was putting this plan together for this whole series of talk, the importance of talking to yourself right. There are people right now, they're I don't know if I want to go to the walk. Oh my goodness, this body of mine. And they're talking themselves out of deliverance. They're
Mhm.
talking themselves out of freeing themselves from where they are to getting to where they need to be.
Mhm.
The danger of self-talk and us monitoring that. Could you share with us?
Yes, absolutely. My favorite thing is if you say you can, you can. And if you say you can't, you can't. So you have to start telling yourself what you can. Here's the one thing I think: register for the walk.
Yeah,
That's one step in the right
yeah,
direction.
yeah,
At least if you register, that may push you to saying, yes, I can do this.
yeah, yeah,
And then the next step is come on out.
yeah, yeah. Just take that
and
step.
and know that, like you said, it's not about competition,
Yeah,
it's about completion.
yeah,
So tell yourself, I'm doing this for me. If I have never done a 5K, my goodness, how exciting that is going to be able to put that down and say, yay, I've
yeah.
finally done one.
Yeah,
So that telling yourself and talking yourself into something good is
yeah,
always better than
yeah,
talking yourself out of something that could be good. And if you never tried, how would you know?
right.
So you have to begin to tell yourself, I can do it. And look at what the benefits will be.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you said, it's a wonderful part. You're going to be able to look, stop, and see, and focus on things perhaps you might not have ever thought about, or you might not have ever seen.
yeah,
So now you'll be able to say, I've seen something that I've never had an opportunity to
yeah,
see, if you haven't been to that part.
yeah,
I now have an opportunity to meet some people. I'm going to be there. So
yeah,
you'll have an opportunity to meet some people that you may not have ever thought you would meet. And I love the fact that you're going to make it a digital-thon.
yes, yes.
That is so exciting. I say you're a trendsetter, but that is so exciting to know that we don't all have to be in the same place, but we can have the same mindset
Yes,
that
yes,
we are
yep,
walking for our health.
yep,
We're walking also to benefit children
yep,
who don't have shoes or need shoes, so we can
yep,
get those shoes to them. So it's kind of like a twofold. So if you can't talk yourself into the actual walk, which I encourage you to do,
yep,
talk yourself in being a benefit and a help to those children who need your help. And so talk yourself into doing something that's going to not only benefit you, but that's going to benefit many others. And you're going to be able to meet Pastor Ricardo and hang
Hey,
out with him
we're gonna
and
do
try to keep
selfies.
up with him.
We're gonna do
But if
selfies.
you don't, just do your slow walk and come on.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, I'm not that fast of a walker.
Really?
I'm really, that's really where that whole statement completing is about. because I'm really more about completing the journey. I want to hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant."
Absolutely.
And in life, I just want to live a life of where I'm making progress. So on Saturday at the walk, if you're making progress, man, give
Yes.
yourself. Listen, every step you
Thumbs
make
up.
is considered progress. Every
Absolutely.
step forward is considered progress. I like what
Mm-hmm.
you said, Mr. Carroll. Doing right, talking yourself into doing right. If it's correct and if it's the way forward, you should embrace it.
You should embrace it.
Get your mindset built around, if it's right, that's what I'm going to lean towards. If it's good for me, that's what I'm going to lean towards. If it's going
Absolutely.
to progress me, that's what I'm going to lead towards. Now, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us, we struggle with stinking thinking. Our
Absolutely.
mindset, the fight in the head is crazy. I work
Really.
all week. I need my Saturday morning. I'm already too tired. I'm already too overextended. I don't know what they want me or that. The walk ain't about us. The walk is about you.
It is
As
about
a
you.
matter of fact, even if you don't want to talk with nobody or walk with nobody, you could do that all by yourself. Just stroll. And I do it all the time, Minister Carol. I do it. I go out there and I'm just walking and strolling. I know people be wondering, I think that guy's something's wrong with him. Like, it ain't about what they think.
Absolutely.
Are you
And,
okay?
and so do you find yourself talking to yourself out there?
I do talk to myself. Listen, I just discovered, they tell you don't talk to yourself. But I just learned lately that talking to yourself is okay.
It's okay.
You got
It's
to know how
okay.
to break down certain things and figure out how it works to you to dissect certain things. And so, at the end of the day, don't worry about what people think. I'm going to talk to myself on my stroll if necessary.
Absolutely, because it's healthy for you, and I think that talking to yourself is a way we're processing some things,
Right.
and
Yes.
we're thinking ahead as well, or you're also thinking, oh, well, perhaps I shouldn't have done that. How can I rectify that? So it's really an opportunity to have that self-talk that's just for you, that's going to be beneficial to you. And like you said, so many great thoughts and ideas have
Yep.
come from that nice little stroll, that nice little walk. That's just for me.
Me. And that's what it's all about. It's being able to say, you know what? I haven't walked at all this year. All I've done is walk to the car and walk into the office, but I need to get out and it's the springtime. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there, and I'm not going out there to try to keep up with nobody, but it's going to be, and somebody said, well, you didn't really break a sweat.
That's okay.
Mind your business. It ain't about you and how you sweat to how I sweat.
Absolutely.
I am out here and I am moving. See, the reason why we got to mind our business is because you don't know what it took to that person even just to show up out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so now they completed it. They just didn't complete it like you. And now we want to already take them to hey, man, you didn't even break a sweat. Leave me alone.
You're absolutely right. And that is one thing I've learned. Even with physical activities, you have to find that physical activity that's going to best suit you. It may not be good for those that's really buffing up in the gym, but if it's working for me, it's working for me. And there's so many ways now that we can find ways to keep our physical activity going on. My mother, I say, is 90, but before the pandemic, she was going to the Y doing chair exercises.
Wow.
And so I'm like, really? You're getting this kind of benefit from a chair exercise? And I've been doing all this work, but you've got to find the physical activity that suits you, because you know what? If it suits you and it's best for you, you'll find yourself being dedicated and determined to get it done. You'll be disciplined in that. But if I'm trying to run like somebody else is running or whatever, that's them. That's not me. So you've got to find that exercise, that physical activity that's going to best fit you. And that way you'll be able to get it done. And this is also what I've learned at 70. If I don't do an hour and a half walking, if I don't do it, it's okay. I can get 30 minutes a day in, and it's very beneficial for me.
It's very bad.
It's beneficial for me. And at age 70, I love when I go to the doctor and they'll say, "Oh, are you 70?" I'm like, "Yes, I love that." That kind of boosts my ego a little bit. You're 70?
Yeah, yeah,
But you know what? I'm grateful because somewhere along the line I learned to stay active.
yeah,
I learned that that is important for me, for my
yeah,
mental health as well
yeah,
as my physical health. And I
yeah.
think that's one of the things too we have to think about too. Our mental health
Health, yes.
is just as important as our
Yep,
physical health as
yep,
well. And so, even learning, even this year, I've learned that I wasn't breathing properly. So
wow,
I've had to
yep,
learn how to breathe. Deep breathing,
yep,
that's
yep,
important
yep,
because that helps my mental capacity,
yep,
and also it gives me that extra wind that I
yep,
need to have
yep.
when I think I'm tiring out. But yes, please come for the run walk. Please sponsor somebody on
Yep.
this segment. So we'll have somebody that they said that we had someone sponsor a kid or
Yep,
sponsor on the.
yep,
I'm gonna do $30. So I
yep,
encourage you
yep,
to also give $30 or sign up for the walk because Ricardo, is so beneficial. I mean, if we're going to be helping helping children,
yep,
like you said, with shoes
yep.
that we take for granted,
Granted, yep,
and to know that
yep,
there's someone or some child out there
yep,
that doesn't have shoes or needs some shoes, or like
yep,
you said, I think you said had to take your shoes and put some glue on. I've been
yep,
there, done that,
yep,
had to glue
yep,
them up. But if we have the means
yep,
and we have been blessed
yep,
to be able to be a blessing to
yep.
someone else. Why wouldn't we do it? You know?
Yeah, and that's why I had to bring this to the front. I had to
Hmm.
like, you know what? I think a lot of people just don't know that they can. I have friends now who got shoe room. Okay,
Uh,
you know, what I mean, they got their own shoe room. It was just like just a wall of shoes. I'm like, geez, you can wear all of those, but that's
no, you
how.
can't wear them all.
I know, right?
I'm a
I know.
witness. You cannot wear them all.
But it's that showroom. But now I'm like, you know, every year I want to do some kind of initiative, and this is the initiative we're doing this year.
Hmm.
And I said,
Hmm.
you know, we forget when we become privileged enough to have that there
Yes.
is still someone out there still gluing their shoes. There's still
Yes.
someone who only got one pair of shoes. There's still some kid who got a busted shoes. You can see their socks from the front.
Yes.
I know what it
Hmm.
is for playing with my friends, and we're playing running, and I got tripped over my shoes because the bottom of my shoes, the lip broke open, and it had the mouth. You think that's only the shoes you see on the street in the trash, but there are people wearing those shoes. And so
Absolutely.
what we take for granted, someone will just be considering, oh my goodness, this is a miracle, this is
What
a
a
blessing,
blessing.
this is a
Yes.
blessing. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
really that's what this is about. We want to give emphasis on, let's help some kids get these shoes, and let's make sure they get it in a time when, you know what, they're either preparing for going back to school or
Hmm.
they're preparing for the high activity within the summer times. Kids are all over the
Absolutely.
place. And
Hmm.
I don't think in the world we're living in, with the amount of resources we have in our world, no child should not have a good shoes. No
Absolutely.
child should not have a good shoe. And so we don't have a shoe issue. For me, my entity, we have a shipping challenge. We want to ship these shoes to the Bahamas. It's $719.95 is the shipping cost to get all the boxes out of here. Now here's the deal. Our partners and friends, the community, we're gonna come together. If we get 24 people do $30, guess what? Boom. So now it's not a heavy task to any one person. It has been spread it out through $30 here, $30 here, $30 here. And then in addition, we want to be able to say, if someone says, I want to come to the walk, but I can't afford to come to the walk.
Absolutely.
Somebody might say, hey, I want to sponsor someone to come to the walk. At the end of the day, you know what? Life has a greater level of value and appreciation when you learn to know that giving is a part of it.
Absolutely.
Giving is
Absolutely.
really a part of it. Miss
Mhm.
Carol, you know, before we go on, I want to talk about I want you to talk to that person who they've crossed over into April. They thought 2021 was going to be so much different.
Mhm.
And it's really not changing much for them right now. But they're talking themselves into a hole. They're talking themselves into a dark space. They're cursing their future. They're limiting their potential from ever being maximized because they're becoming their own worst enemy by the words that they're saying. As we
Absolutely.
get ready to close this talk out, just 2, 3 minutes, remind them, speak life to yourself, encourage yourself, see that you're more blessed and favored far beyond what you know. And so just closing thoughts on a reminder to those, you know, this is your
Sometimes we
time.
don't realize what a gift our lives are. And so when we don't recognize that we are a gift, I may not be a gift to everybody,
Yep.
but I'm a gift to somebody. And so I want to be able to make sure that my life is a gift. And so if we allow ourselves to be in this space where there's nothing but darkness, there's no hope, there's no opportunity to see any further past where you are today, then that's an opportunity that you need to reach out to somebody. You need somebody to encourage you. And so you don't want to stay in that place, because ultimately that's where the enemy wants us to stay, in a dark, hopeless, worthless situation. But the Bible says that God has created us, and we are supposed to be those people that He says that we are absolutely marvelously, wonderfully made. But
Yes.
you have to start believing that about yourself. You have to start telling yourself and see yourself who God made you to be.
Yes.
And sometimes I don't have to, many times we want to look like somebody else, and we want to make comparisons
Yep.
to ourselves about somebody else. But He said, I'm uniquely
Yep.
and wonderfully
Wonderfully.
made.
Yes.
So you have to begin to you have to own that
Yes.
you know who you are. And
Yes.
part of getting out of that dark place is recognizing who you are. You have
Yes.
a purpose in life.
Yes.
God
Yes.
didn't put you here without a purpose. And you have to begin to know what your purpose is. But I
Yes.
love what you always say. I have to know who I am not
Yep.
in order to know who I am. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
when I can begin to embrace who I am,
Yes.
because a lot of times we get in that pit because we're trying to live up to someone else's expectation, trying to live up to to the TV models and all that kind of stuff. But you have to really know who you are and be appreciative of who God made you to be. Because sometimes we say, when I say that I'm not anything, or I'm not what God made me to be, I'm calling Him a liar.
Yep. Yep.
And I
Yep.
don't want to do that.
Yep.
And then how can you help anybody
Yep.
if you're not healthy yourself?
Wow.
How can
Yep.
you talk positively
Yep.
to anyone if
Yep.
you're constantly putting yourself down,
Yep.
saying what you can't do,
Yep.
saying what won't ever happen to you?
Yep.
You've got to be able to have a vision. And if you're in that dark place today, I encourage you to look for just a glimmer
Yep.
of light.
Yes.
Light is life. So look for that. And so even getting up to be grateful sometime,
Yes.
I may not have everything I want, but I can look out and say, today, Lord, you woke me up.
Yes.
Today, Lord, I see the sunshine.
Yes.
Today, Lord, I've got breath in my body. I'm
Yes.
so grateful for that. And because of that, you've given me a new day
Yeah.
and a new opportunity to look even further than where I am today,
Yep.
because we're all going to have life challenges.
Yep.
It's how we deal with those
Ooh.
challenges and how we take those challenges
Yep.
and move from where we are
Yep.
to where we want to go,
Yep.
because we will have challenges. So
Yep.
you've got to be able to know how to respond. Yes, I may get down, but
Yep.
I don't want to stay down. It's an
Yeah.
opportunity the next day to get up and start all over again.
Ooh, it's an opportunity to get up and start all over again. Thank
Hmm.
you so much, Minister Carol. One of the things that I want people to know in conjunction with what she just said, the reality of you getting up. She said, get up, register, come out for the walk. Here's what's going to happen. The fresh air is going to
Hmm.
speak to you. Come on. The Holy Spirit has the potential to minister to you just on a nice, good
Yes.
walk. Come
Hmm.
on. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging around with some good people, sitting on a
Absolutely.
nice bench, hearing the birds just twiddle, 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 just listen to the birds twiddle, right? You end up finding yourself just in a better space. But don't,
Relaxing.
yeah, that's necessary. And
Relaxing.
that's why you shouldn't come out there to compete. You should come out there to complete. Come out there
Absolutely.
to enjoy. Come out there to engage. And so on next Saturday, we're going to do this walk. But here's the deal. You can help us. These are two things you can do. One, register for the walk, because it's next Saturday at 8 a.m. in Arlington, Texas. We want as many people. Listen, it's time to get out. It's time to get
It's
out.
time
But
to
then
get up.
listen, go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to sponsor the shoes going to the Bahamas, $30. Okay, and
$30.
we're believing God that every time we do one of these interviews, I have 12 of these interviews. If 2 people do the sponsorship on each interview by the end of the day, we would have hit our goal. Hoorah!
We're
And you know
hitting it
what?
today. We're hitting our goal.
We're gonna hit our
We're
goal
hitting it
today.
today. Pastor Cotto, Bobby Moore is asking a question. What are you in need of a donation for? So
Yeah,
would you
Bobby,
kind of tell her that
we would
again?
love to, Bobby. We would love to put you down as one of those persons to help us get these resources to the Bahamas. Listen, we got the shoes. I've got cases of them. I have them in storage, and now it's time for me to have them bad boys shipped down to Florida and get over to Bahamas to my partners there that will be distributing those out to kids. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure we get those shoes, and we're going to send other supplies to the Bahamas. People have known me for years doing outreaches in the Bahamas, and so this year we're going to do it again. And then, in addition, we're encouraging if you want to sponsor someone to go to the walk who cannot afford to go to the walk, because our heart is ministry and our heart is serving. We want to make sure that those who want to can, but maybe cannot afford to, but we still want to make sure that they're able to. And so we're excited about this, okay? And so they're coming in, man.
They're coming in. Would you tell them how to give? Miss Bobby Moore says she will give $30. Would you tell her
Awesome.
how to
Yeah,
share
we're
that,
gonna
give
go
that
ahead.
$30?
Yep, in the comment section, we're going to put the multiple options for you to be able to give. Listen, these are the ways you can give and support. Thank you guys so much. Listen, guys, we're going to have pictures on our social media page of the walk and of the shoes distribution. Stay following this platform. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. If you're on Facebook, put on that notification button. Whenever Ricardo Miller pops up, you want to be able to stay up to date. Don't forget, you can go ahead and contribute to Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, or go to the website, ricardomiller.com, and support this initiative. Ms. Carol Crockett, you are a blast as usual. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Closing thoughts to our viewing audience.
Well, for me, please give. It's for a great opportunity for us to be able to share with others, especially children, be able to share with them. And like Pastor Cotto said, the shoes are already here. So all we need to do is help them get shipped to those children. And so if you think about you got multiple pair of shoes and how one child will be so appreciative if we can just donate that $30 in order for them to at least have a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
We would be so appreciative. So giving is very important, and this is an opportunity for us to come together and make such a great contribution to all those children who are waiting on those shoes. So I just want to encourage you, please give, or please come out and register for the 5K walk. So either way, you will be giving to help those children, whether you register or whether you send a $30 donation. Please make one of those one of your choices.
Thank you very much, everyone. This is a 12-hour Digital-thon. Listen, man, I'll be here until 7 p.m. tonight, and I have guests every hour. We're talking about the 5K run walk happening on April 10th, next Saturday, and we're talking about getting these shoes to the Bahamas. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you again, Minister Carol Crockett.
And I will be there, so y'all come on out.
Come on out. We're going to do some selfies together.
We're going to do some selfies. I know you're going to do a lot of them, Ricardo. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.